It's a really big deal. No one wants to go home a loser. On top of not making the playoffs, so it was more about us. I think we had put it in our minds that our preparation for today's game started yesterday with our travel, and we knew we needed to prepare and do other stuff. And so, shout out to the organization for making sure we stretched. First time maybe got an ice tub.
Not the first time, but
for 10 minutes.
Yeah, for 10 minutes. That was one.
You made shots. And so in retrospect, it was just really about us, and we want it in the right way. And I think we all kind of deserve that as a group, and everything we've been through. It's been a long season, and I think it's good to go out knowing you winning.
Christie's emphasized defense all season, it feels like, to end with only allowing 9 points in that fourth quarter. I mean, what does that say for your defensive growth this season and the things she's trying to implement here?
Just that when we put our mind to it and when we really lock into what we have to do, we can really do some pretty good things. I mean, Minnesota is a great team, but they also score the ball really well. And so to hold them to that in the fourth quarter it's really special for us.
Who inspired you to do a long ice bath?
It wasn't really an inspiration. It was more of a getting back to them. And I was like, sure, here I am.
Can you tell it helped?
Of course. I feel great. I feel refreshed. I could do another 40.
In that fourth quarter, you found a lot of a group there. Was that a coverage shift they were giving you? Was that the way your teammates were feeding you? What you feel like kind of went into that?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both, especially in the post, they were trying to overhelp. So, I mean, just some of the passes where I cut it off the block and I was able to see and go to work. But at the same time, I mean, I kind of just put my head down and was like, we're just going to go. And I did.
Thanks. Like that mindset.
For either of you, how do you feel like you'll remember just this Fever season?
For me, having it be my rookie season, I think it was really special. We just talked about it, how, I mean, coming into the season, everyone thought we were going to be the bottom dog, like no chance. And then here we are. I mean, we've competed against some of the best teams. We beat some of the best teams. And so it's really nice because I think it just shows what the coaches are building here, the talent that we have, and what it looks like when we just completely play together and lock into what we need to.
I would say the same. I think for me individually, obviously I got a little more experience to AB, but for me, it's been about my personal growth off the floor and mentally be able to call myself a pro and know what it's like to be a pro. I know I recognize, I ain't supposed to really be here as far as like my junior year where I've been, but I wouldn't want to play with 11 other ladies. I think for me, it was about making sure that we stayed together no matter what. And I think that showed for 40 games, and I wouldn't be proud of any other group. So I'm excited about what this group can do.
Kelsey, I had a question. You always talk about your team in a positive light and your all's togetherness. What is one key character trait that like keeps you all together?
I would definitely say respect sounds cliche, but it's a really, really big deal. But more importantly, I think our group really, really values character. We have really high character individuals on our team, and I think it made for a great organization and a great group. Some of the most selfish ladies I think I've ever been around in a long time. And so it's a really good feeling to kind of like be a part of this, knowing that, unfortunately on one end we don't make the playoffs, but it feels good to play with, good people. And that's what it felt like.
Leah, I had a question for you. How has this year challenged you to grow, and what was your greatest source of support?
Man, oh man. I think mentally, it's challenged me. I'm still working on it, not even close to where I need to be just because of how quickly games come. But I mean, coming in, like I would have times I'm having a bad shooting night, or if I miss easy bunnies around the rim, it kind of like takes me into a different space. And I think I've just been trying to work on that as games have progressed. Not where I want to be yet, but I think with experience and time, it'll come. But also just having the great support system of my teammates, the coaches, my parents definitely, but also just the support of God. Like I really rely talking to him all the time. Like I continue to pray just because, I mean, he's opened all these doors for me, but he's also equipped me for everything. So, I mean, everything that's happening in the games, even when it's not going my way specifically, it's kind of like he's already made a plan, like he's already equipped me for it. And so that's kind of the biggest challenge I have, is just kind of accepting that, okay, it is okay. Like just put your mind to something else. But I think with time and experience, I'll get there.
Last question for both of you. What is your most memorable moment from the season?
Oh, shoot.
First. Man, most memorable moment.
Got 2 all-stars up here.
Oh, that was good. That's the answer right there.
First, I want to say congrats on your guys' winning tonight. I know you guys both talked a little bit about, the mental strain that you can have playing long season. So with it being a long season, how important is it for both of you to stay mentally healthy? And what are some steps that you have taken to make sure that your mental health is up to where you want it to be throughout the season?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I've started journaling more. I think that's helped. I also talk to our sports psych, just being able to get my feelings out and just talk about things, because I feel like we forget that it's not just about basketball and like things happen in real life. And so just being able to balance both, especially for me coming in as a rookie, I just really talk about it and just write down everything.
And Dr. Sean,
He's our guy.
he's our guy. He's the one that we go to and pour all our feelings on him. But I think for me, it was about recognizing that I want peace in my life. And I know that in order to do that, I gotta tap into my spirituality more. And so that's one of my goals. But more importantly, I want to be around the people that love me for me. And I'm gonna continue to find those people and keep that circle tight.
Again, for both of you, many people put their identity into their sport and they put a lot of value into their performance. So how have you guys been able to disconnect your performance as a player off the court and, you know, put your value into who you are off the court?
To be honest, I'm still separating the two.
I'm a work in progress.
It's actually kind of crazy. I mean, halfway through the season, like I was kind of in this spot where I was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, am I in a slump? Like, how do I get out of the slump? Like, what's like things off the court too, all coming in. And someone told me, they were like, you have to figure out who you are without it, because you know he's placed this dream in your heart and he's placed you where he wants you to be, but that's not who you are. And so I think hopefully now that the off season is here, I'll be able to spend a little bit more time figuring out who I am without basketball and understand that I am more than basketball. But I mean, it's at the same time, it's hard because I've been playing basketball since I was 9 years old. Like, this is what I do every Saturday. I went up 6 a.m. working out. Like, this is who I put in so much time into it that it's kind of hard to separate the two. But this off season, I will have an answer to that.
Yeah, it just constantly be a work in progress. I know that, you know, whatever God we all worship, he works on us every day. And so for us, I think individually and to collectively, I'll speak for her too. We're gonna find time to just, you know, live in the moment and you know, find our families and enjoy them and just kind of take one day at a time, because life is short. And so we gonna try to embrace as much as we can while we got it.
Last question, since you guys are in the off season now, finishing up this last game, what can we expect for you guys coming up, or the hobbies that you guys have when the season's over? Like, what do you guys like to do? What are some fun things that you enjoy doing and that's not basketball related?
I think I'm gonna try some new hairstyles. So be on the lookout. I know I do my little color braids, but they might be up to put zigzags or something. Oh yeah, but yeah.
I actually committed to go overseas and play, but it's less about playing for me and going over there. It's more about finding myself and continuing to find my peace and my why. And I'm gonna use one of these last opportunities to go overseas to do that, and let the chips fall where they may.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Reagan, will you take our 2 All-Stars back to the locker room, you know, last time?
Okay.
What this would mean to you? I mean, you guys weren't playing for anything, but to play such almost a full, complete, great game and win by 15 in Europe, final finale. What did that mean to you?
Yeah. I think for me, just the way we were so terrible in the third quarter, terrible. And to fight back in that fourth quarter, show the adversity, that's what we didn't know how to do earlier, right? So like, that's what we've been talking about. So for me, just the way they kept them to 9 points, I think, right? In the fourth quarter. I mean, just to pick up number 13 with this group, I didn't think we would get there, but we did. And, you know, I talked to Melissa Smith, and with her being out during that hard stretch that we had, things could have been way different had she not, you know, had to go down for us and be out. But just proud of them for their fighting through that adversity, getting the stops, and then just finishing the game.
9 in the fourth quarter, you know, defense is what you kind of preached all year. Was that kind of like the culmination of the growth you've seen, like everything clicking at the same time to end the season?
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's what I told him just now. Steps to success. Like this season was about steps for success for us. And we completed several of those. And tonight we showed kind of where we've grown and what we're able to do when we understand moments and we understand situational things and able to get those stops was just huge.
As a coach, you kind of go game to game looking at your next opponent. So now what do you look forward to next?
Some sleep. some sleep. We're gonna get to meet with all of them tomorrow. I look forward to just talking to them. I have several stories for each of them where they all gave something for this team that created this new environment that we have. I mean, that was my goal. First and foremost was to just change the culture, create an identity. We did that. We created an identity where I had coaches that they don't want to play us. Like they know what they're getting. Hadn't been like that in the last few years. And so just really proud of that. And they've all contributed with our injuries, every last one of them, 1 through 12. So I can't wait to have those conversations and just hear their opinions on how the season went, what we can do better. Because at the end of the day, I want to win basketball games, but I want to make sure that these guys have the most amazing experience as a WNBA professional basketball player. And I don't think they've had that. And I want to make sure that that is the number one goal. And the wins will come because of it.
What will be important to you and what you hope to accomplish in the offseason when everybody spreads out and you're not directly coaching them every single day?
Yeah, just keeping that relationship going, building that relationship, really showing them where their strengths were, where their weaknesses were, where we can work, making sure they're working on those, in the off season. I'm really excited that most of them are going overseas to play, which is going to be great for their development. I think we missed out on some not going overseas last year. It really, it would have really helped, but that's just where we are. Just keeping up with them and watching them grow. But like when you go overseas, you really grow, not just as a basketball player, but as a person as well, because it is a different environment. So just to be able to follow, make sure they're doing what they need to do. And then we show up next, ready to go for training camp, all of us ready to go, where we're not trying to get in shape. We were trying to get in shape in training camp. When you're a pro, you show up in shape, and we don't have those wasted times of trying to build them up and get them in shape.
One more quick one on the game here. They were in a position, Minnesota, because Dallas beat Atlanta, where they actually would have moved up to the 5 had they won. And sometimes it can be difficult when another team needs to win versus your want to win. What did it say about your group that you were able to finish in the way you did, despite the fact that it was Minnesota that had a lot more players?
Yeah, we had nothing, like we weren't fighting for anything but pride and our growth. And they have bought into that from day one. So that is, as a coach, like that's what I've been trying to get them to. Like, yeah, we were in a lot of close games. Things could have been different. Liz didn't get hurt, but this is where we are. These are great steps. We've learned a lot about ourselves. Me as a coach, I've learned so much about myself. I ask them all the time, what have you learned about yourself during this process? We've just got to keep growing. We've got to keep growing, and there are really, really good fun days ahead of us with the Indiana Fever.
And not to put an arbitrary ceiling on what you're able to accomplish this year, but when you just look at a big picture, I mean, you won more games this year than the last 2 years combined. Aaliyah looks like a franchise centerpiece. You still got the #1 draft lottery odds. It would be hard to think of this season as anything else but a massive success. Do you feel like you checked all of the major boxes you wanted to?
100%, 100%. I mean, we were fighting for the playoffs. That was always #1. It'd be nice to not have a lottery pick because we're in the playoffs, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to do. We never talked about that, but we are going to have an opportunity to bring in another good player, to keep adding to what we already have, our toolbox, and just to continue this fight that these guys have. Like they just showed where they were able to handle a lot of adversity and come out and never give in to it. And that is huge.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hey, thank y'all. How was the video at the end, the walk-up?
It was great.
Oh, you got
You're
one-
ready
you got
for
one
it.
last one.
You're prepared for it now, so.
Hey, winning Reagan right here. Winning Reagan has walked me down.